right, hello. Welcome to my live video. I am going to be doing something on Adobe Illustrator today. I am trying to create a poster, just something that looks cool to me. I sketched it out the other day on my Adobe Illustrator app on my iPad, which I really like because the Apple Pencil is nice to be able to hand draw something that I'm going to put into Adobe Illustrator later on. So that is definitely very helpful. So here is the sketch that I did in the application. This sketch is colored because I kind of want just some differences in shading here while I'm sketching, so I just chose orange to be my color. I don't know if that's the color I want anything to be in here, but it'll probably make its way in there because of the sand. I'm going to play with a lot of different colors in here and stuff. I already started on the text up here. You can see it easier in isolation mode. I'm not sure if this is exactly how I'm going to be keeping this text, but this is kind of the idea that I'm going to be doing. And then I got my sketch underneath. It looks a little pixely because I lost a layer and transferring it over, so I just put an image over, which works just fine for me. It's gonna end up the same. So I'm gonna move over to my new layer that I'm gonna start sketching on and enter the isolation mode so I can see a little bit easier. So I have my sketch of my girl here, and I'm just gonna start working on these lines here. I'm going to press P for the pen tool, and I'm going to start adding my anchor points. I want to start sort of in the middle of her face on this hairline to try to get her head shape down. So I'm going to bring in her bangs right here. I'm just pulling this by dragging the mouse and pressing the left key. And then I'm just kind of letting that curve naturally fall because it's hair, so it should naturally fall. I want it to go a little straight right there. And I'm using the Alt key and the mouse roll to zoom in and out, and the Control key and the mouse roll to go back and forth, left and right, I mean. Pull this out. Create these curves here. I apologize if you hear any noise in the background. My dog's having fun, and at least he's not barking. So he may bark, but hopefully he doesn't. So I'm just kind of going to get these lines down here, and I really like that. And I kind of want her hair to mimic on the other side, so I'm going to press V for the selection tool here. And I'm just going to select that entire shape. Control C and Control V for copy and paste. Now here's that shape all over again. What I could do is I could make another strand just by holding down Shift to make sure it doesn't distort. Lower the size and get that line in there, something that I can start with over here. Press A for the direct selection tool, which is right here. Click on an anchor that you want, do what you want with it. I'm going to delete it. And then I'm going to move this one down so it works with my design. So now I'm going to select both of these with the V. Selected the direct selection tool. The selection tool. Copy and paste. And then I'm going to go to Object, Transform, Reflect, Vertical, OK. And then I'm just going to move it over because I kind of want it to be mostly symmetrical. I drew it to be symmetrical. But I can still tweak some of these lines here and add some character to it. Some hair falling across her face. Accentuating, ugh, her words are hard. Accentuating these curves in her neck I wanted to do, which is why I chose that shape. And this is honestly lots of fun because you don't have to be as technical as I had to be when I was doing this text up here. Okay. Oh, that looks really cool. And it's practically the same on the other side, so I'm just going to do the same thing again. I apologize. So I am just making the shape of the face now. I'm sorry, the shape of the scalp now. And I wanted to raise it up a little bit, but her head is back like this. So I want to flatten that out a little bit more. I didn't plan on messing that up so much. See, that looks better. I don't like this though. I'm going to delete that and that one. And then just move this one over. Flatten out that. I just changed it completely. Okay. And do this other side here. Ooh. Control Z to undo. So I'm really getting some good character in here. I really like the hair. I think I'm going to move into the face now. We have a few more minutes left, so I'm just going to kind of get some of these basic shapes in her face down. That way we can move on to working on the face. So I'm going to exit out of that isolation mode, and I'm going to add a new layer because I want the hair to be separate from the face, so coloring will be easier later on, and so keeping the groups together will be easier as well. So we're going to add that new layer and then go to isolation mode again, and now we're going to be working on the face. So this will be the face layer. I'm just going to start in with these eyebrows. I drew some pretty good ones earlier, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to do the same thing again. Yeah, that's too, well, that helped. And I don't know if that's a good spot for the way the face is. The way the face is. It's like, sometimes I have to take pictures of myself, and I did for this one, and it was rather ridiculous. Because it was just taking a picture of up my nose almost. Yeah, that's interesting, and I don't think that that's gonna work because that forehead looks tiny now. I know it's perspective. Lord. I'm gonna move into this hair again. Go back into the hair and go to the isolation mode. And then I'm just gonna select A, which is the direct selection tool over here. And I'm gonna drag my selection just on these anchor points here. And then I'm gonna use my arrow keys to move it up and down. I just kinda wanna move it up and see what a little bit more room for the forehead would be. I'm gonna select just this anchor here, use my arrow keys to move it around. Same thing with this one. And this one, and this one, I'm just gonna drag. Okay, so I think that that looks better. Moving back into the eyebrows, isolation mode. All right, so now I'm going to move into the eyes, and here is one of my favorite parts of drawing people, is the eyes and the eyelashes. It's just so much fun. It's so much fun. And I'm just kind of letting these seem natural and swoopy and feathery because it's all eyelash. Her eyes are closed, her eyelids are right here. So And I think they're too big, so I'm going to hold down the shift key while I'm making the size go down, and that way it will stay the same shape. It won't distort it. If I weren't to hold that down, I could do whatever I wanted to it. But I want to make it a little smaller and move it around and make sure that that looks natural. I have to zoom out, and with the painting I have to step away to kind of get an idea of what looks good, because if you're looking too close at something, it'll look good up close, but it won't look good when you zoom out. I've been using this reflect tool quite a bit. All right, so then I just did the nose, and I'm just drawing the lines. I'm probably not going to keep these outlines because I think they look a little bit tacky, but it does tell me where the shadows are going to be, and then I can delete them later. It's still kind of a sketch. Same thing with what I'm doing right here on the nose. I do not want to keep this, but I want to remember that the highlight and the shadow go right there. And then I'm going to move on to the mouth. And I like to always remember that the curve of the mouth matches up with the nose, and that's what these are for. So you really have to pay attention to those and the way that they work with your mouth. Every mouth is different. And that's another cool thing about them, is because they're so organic. My puppy is really upset, so I am going to be finishing up. I think he just wants attention, so I'm going to go give him some puppy cuddles and finish this design a little bit later. If you have any questions, or if you thought of anything that might make something easier for me, let me know in the comments below. And if you could think of any designs that you would absolutely love to see, I would love to start recording more designs and try to get some more tips out there if you guys are interested. So thank you so much for coming. I will show a last look at what it looks like, what we did today, and I really think that it's headed in a good direction. So here we are back on the computer screen here, and today we did pretty much this, which looks so funny, like this. It looks like she's drowning, but it will look better. All right, so yeah, today we did the beach freak text. I did this in an earlier, I did this in an earlier video, and I still need to clean it up a little bit. And then I did the hair design with you guys, and then the face design as well. So this is what it looks like right now, and I will continue it later on, and I will name these layers as well. So thank you so much for coming, and I hope you have a good night. Goodbye.